The idea of multicultural, the idea of, there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of, certainly in America, and I know in Canada as well, from what you've told me, there's diversity is a huge issue, and it's something that's almost become a cookie cutter issue. Well, if you do X, Y, and Z, then we'll all get along. And, my very, very pragmatic response to that is, really? Yeah, so far, maybe not so good. And I appreciate the trainings and everything I know that have been going on in companies and corporations regarding diversity, but I'm not sure that we've really reached the heart of it. And that's okay. It's something that we need to continue to learn and grow and explore.
Yeah.
But I think that there are certain steps that we can take as individuals and as communities to really learn about each other's cultures, and then not just learn about it, but really have a sense of being together on it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, you bring a really good point, which is diversity is part of our institutional frameworks, right? So our governments or our companies say that it's important, and it's important that it's part of our value system institutionally, because we need that. We need the governments to say, yes, we support this.
Right.
Now, that's not enough. Right? It's not enough to say people are equal. Now we have to start changing the mindsets of the individual people who make up that society. So I think there's some steps that we take as individuals when we start this conversation about diversity. The first step, which is sometimes the hardest, because it takes a level of honesty and a level of self-reflection, which is to just accept, to get real and say, okay, what are my beliefs about somebody from this particular background? And just really ask myself, like, okay, what do I think about Jewish women, for example, right? And get really honest with myself about that. And I don't have to go and tell anybody, but I have to tell myself honestly that, okay, these are my stereotypes, these are my assumptions, this is what I've picked up over the years about, for example, Jewish women. Okay, so that's step number one, which is really hard because it takes a level of...
How fantastic we are? Is that...
Well, that's a part of it. Successful, right? There's, and not all of the assumptions are negative. That's a good point, Jen, because not all of them are... Right, because you could say, oh, I have an assumption that Indo-Canadian women are very intelligent, right? They become doctors, and which
beautiful with blonde hair and blue eyes.
Well,
pretty easy.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's not it's not necessarily negative stereotypes, but to acknowledge that I have these beliefs, assumptions, stereotypes about the other group. So that's the first step. And like I said, it takes a level of honesty.